Hello, Uncle Jerry. As promised, I have not forgotten about you. For anybody else, my family and I did a couple of yoga poses over Christmas at home, and I promised my uncle that I would make a video so that it could help with his balance. So I'm going to do a very beginner, quick yoga video to help with balance and just get a little bit of stretching going on. As I tell a lot of my students, if literally you sat here and paid attention to your breath for the whole entire class, it would be an amazing gift for your mind and body. So we're going to start just paying attention to our breath. So in yoga, you'll take big inhales through your nose and exhales through your nose. So just come to a comfortable seated position. Typically palms down is for grounding, palms up is for receiving. So whatever it is that you feel that you need in this moment. And just come to a nice and tall seated position. Take a big inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. Big inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. Again, big inhale and exhale. So the whole time you'll continue to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, just warming the body from the inside. So on an inhale, sweep your arms up, maybe gaze up a little bit. Exhale, hands to your heart through prayer. Inhale, sweeping your arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, arms sweep up. Shoulders are away from your ears. Exhale, hands to your heart in prayer. Big inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, just fold forward. Even if the fold forward is right here, that's fantastic. Otherwise, maybe just stretching forward as far as you can. And then walking your hands over to the right, just getting a big side stretch here. Coming back to center. Walking over to the left. Coming back to center. Slowly just walking back up. And then letting your head fall, looking down, just stretching your neck in the back. And then let your head fall over to the right. If you'd like for a little more, you can bring your right hand up, placing the right palm on the left side of your head. Maybe just a gentle pull here, just a little bit further to give you a little bit more. And release the hand, let your head fall back, gazing up towards the ceiling. Coming back to center, let your head go over to the left. You can always pick up your left palm, placing it on the right side of your head. Maybe a slight gentle pull. Releasing the hand, coming back to center. And then just walk up, placing your hands on the floor, coming to an all fours position. So your wrists stack directly underneath your shoulders and your knees stack underneath your hips. And on an inhale, you arch your back and look up at the ceiling. This is called cow pose. And on an exhale, you round your spine like a Halloween cat for cat pose. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, round. One more, inhale, looking up. Exhale, round. Coming back to a neutral spine. So just to start balance on the ground here, You're gonna lift your right arm out in front of you and your left leg back, trying to keep a nice, long, straight spine here. I recommend staying here, but later on, after you've done it a couple of times, if you want to bring your right hand out to the side and your left leg out to the left for a little bit more, you can. Coming back to center, slowly release down. And then we'll switch sides. Left arm comes out in front of you, right leg comes back. So your right leg is really strong here. Toes are pointed down towards the floor. Left arm can come out to the side, right leg can come out. Coming back to center, slowly release it all down. And then we're just gonna tuck our toes and come into downward facing dog. So I'm gonna move to the side so you can see my fingers are spread wide. Tucking my toes and pushing back. And my feet are hips width distance apart. So I'm in an upside down inverted V right now, pressing into my palms. You can bring a little movement here to your down dog, just bending one knee and then the other knee. Your heels are working their way towards the floor. They may be nowhere near the floor, and that's completely fine. Come to your tippy toes, just rising up, and then lower your heels towards the floor. One more, rising up, and release down. And then just step your feet forward, and you're gonna come to a forward fold. So again, I'm just turned to the side. You're still at the top of your mat. I'm just doing it so you can see me. My feet are hips width distance apart. You can actually take your fists and put them together like this and place them in between your heels. That's 2 fist width distances apart, and that's hips width distance. A lot of times we think our hips are much wider than they actually are. So this is the distance that your feet will be in a forward fold. You can grab opposite elbows with your hands. Let your head just hang forward. Maybe you sway your torso from right to left if that feels good. Coming back to center, release your arms. Just shake your head slowly, no. And then nod your head yes. Walk your feet to touch. And you're going to slowly come rolling up to standing, 1 vertebra at a time. Coming to the top of your mat. So we'll go ahead and work on the request for balancing poses. So we will start with tree pose. So you're going to ground down in all 4 corners of your left foot and make your left thigh and leg really strong here. Bring your right foot anywhere up above or below your knee, but just don't press into your knee here. Another option, if bringing it down low is still hard to hold the balance, then place your foot on the floor like a kickstand, and this is a great starting point. So gaze is forward. I like to find something eye level that's not moving. And don't forget to breathe here. So just working your way up, maybe you start as a kickstand and eventually maybe your foot comes up to the inside of your thigh. Just make sure that if your foot is up, that your hip is not lifted, that it's still level with the other side. So starting with your hands at your heart. Once you've found your balance, if you want, you can play around with arm variations. Maybe bring your hands up to the sky, arms in a V, or you can interlace your hands above you, bringing the palms towards the sky, shoulders are away from your ears, either variation. Make sure you're not holding your breath here. Continue to breathe. then bringing your right knee forward, slowly release everything down. And then we'll switch sides. So ground down in your right foot, right thigh, leg really strong. Bringing your left foot up anywhere above or below your knee. Hands starting at your heart, so I'm going to bring mine down. So your knee is turned out to the side, trying to keep your hips level. Hands start at your heart. Continue to breathe, finding your gaze point. Doing any variation with your hands. And just whatever happens, if you come out of it or fall out of it, just trying to have no judgment whatsoever and just being okay with whatever happens. The way that we react here in yoga can really show us the way that we can react in life. So the less reaction that we have, the better. If you're just not at all having any sort of problem, maybe you sway your tree side to side, you could always look up. That can help challenge the balance, or close your eyes. And again, just being perfectly okay with if you fall out of it. And then bringing your left leg forward, slowly release down. Big inhale, sweeping your arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, sweeping your arms up. Interlace your hands above you. Interlace all but your index fingers. And then cross your thumbs back behind you. Shoulders are away from your ears. Slight tuck in your tailbone. Take a big inhale. Exhale, just stretch over towards the right. Coming back to center, big inhale. Exhale, stretching over to the left. Coming back to center, bringing your hands to your heart in prayer and release. And then ground down in your left leg, making it really strong again. Your right thigh is really strong. And bring your right knee up in line with your hips. You can have your hand on your hip or out to the side, just whatever you think is best for your balance here. Maybe bring your right knee out to the side, or you can just keep it out in front of you. Once you've been working this for a while and you want to add on, you can always grab your big toe with your peace fingers and stretch your leg out to the side. And again, if this is something that you do, make sure your hip's not lifted out to the right, but that it's still level with your left hip. Bringing your knee or leg forward and slowly release it down. And we'll switch sides. So ground down in your left leg, ground down on your right leg. Bring your left knee up. So it's level with your hip here. Maybe you take it out to the side. You can always just leave it forward. Right hand can be on your hip, out to the side. Anywhere that helps you with balance. You can always grab your big toes with your peace fingers, straightening your leg if you want more of a challenge. Bringing your left knee or leg forward and slowly release everything down. Big inhale, sweeping your arms up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Now we're going to sit in our imaginary chair for Utkatasana or chair pose. So feet touch, have a seat, knees are together. Bringing your arms up over your head, slight tuck in your tailbone. Maybe you begin to take the gaze up towards the ceiling. See if you can sit 2 inches deeper. Make sure you're not holding your breath. And slowly release towards the floor. And another forward fold here. So separate your feet hips width distance. You can keep your hands on the floor.
Or you can interlace your hands back behind your back, stretching your hands towards the front of the room, getting a big shoulder stretch. Slowly release your hands. Plant your hands in front of you. And we're going to step our feet back to a high plank or push-up position. And then drop your right knee. Bring your right palm to the floor. It's about an inch or two in front of your shoulders. So your hands on the floor, maybe just a tiny bit, wrist forward. Spin your back heel down on the floor so your back foot is flat, and bring your right fingertips up to the sky. So just getting a little bit of balance here too, again on the floor, different perspective. Maybe you take your gaze towards your left hand. And left palm down to the floor, eyes down to the floor. Bring your knees out the distance of your mat. Big toes touch back behind you. And just sit back for child's pose. Your arms are stretching out in front of you. Fingers wide. Just resting back in child's pose for a moment. And press back up, all fours. Then tuck your toes, press into down dog. Coming to a high plank position, high push-up position again. Dropping your left knee, bring your left hand out, maybe an inch in front of the line of where your wrist goes down to where your shoulder is. Spin your right heel down, right foot flat, looking up towards your right fingertips. If you can. If not, taking it out to the side is just fine, or looking down to help with balance. Right hand back down to the floor. Bringing your knee down, knees back wide, big toes touch, sitting back into child pose. Coming back up to all fours. Just come to a high plank position. You can always drop your knees here. Either way, we're just going to lower slowly all the way down to the mat with your elbows in toward your body. Zip up your legs back behind you. Bring your fingers up underneath the tips of your shoulder blades. Keep your legs glued to the floor. And on an inhale, just barely lifting your chest up for baby cobra. Elbows are in towards your body. And slowly release down. And again, coming up. This is a heart lift versus pressing into your hands. See if you can lift your fingers off the floor. Just strengthening your back here. Slowly lower down. And one more, lifting up. And slowly release down. You're just going to press yourself up. Coming into child's pose for a moment. Pressing up to downward facing dog. Couple of big deep breaths here. Big inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward and step to the top of your mat and have a seat, and we're going to lie back on your back. So I'll do this one to the side also. My feet are out the distance of my hips. Remember, that's only 2 fist width distance. It's not far. My hands are out by my side, and we're going to do bridge pose. So see if you can brush the backs of your heels with your fingertips so your feet want to be in close to your body. Arms out to the side, and then press into your feet to lift your hips up. Once you get up, you want to keep looking at the ceiling, not turning your neck right or left. This is bridge pose. Slowly release down. Stretch your arms up over your head and your legs out in front of you, just getting a full body stretch. And just hug the knees into the chest. Now we're going to get a little bit of a hip stretch here. So cross your right leg over your left thigh. Kind of looks like a number 4 in the air. And then bring your hands interlaced back behind your left thigh. And you're going to bend your left knee towards you, the straight one. Bend your left knee, pull your knee towards you, but your right knee simultaneously is pushing out the other direction. So you should really be able to feel it in your right side. If you can't, bring your left knee a little closer toward your body. Just take big, deep, healing breaths, sending love into your hips. Slowly release, hugging your knees into your chest. And switch sides. Left foot comes over your right thigh. Interlace your hands underneath your right thigh. Bending your knee, pulling your right leg towards you as your left knee works its way the other direction. Make sure you can feel it on your left side, taking big deep breaths into your left hip. Release and hug your knees into your chest. And then we're just going to bring your legs up towards the ceiling, feet towards the ceiling like you're standing on the ceiling, arms out beside you. This is a great thing to do against the wall also. So you could get as close to the wall as possible and put your legs up the wall. It's a great thing to do before you go to bed at night too. We're just getting the circulation moving in the opposite direction. Take big deep breaths. If you notice any shaking or anything, it's totally normal. Just taking big deep breaths and breathing into it. Slowly hug your knees into your chest. And then a lot of people's favorite yoga pose, this is called Shavasana, or the final resting pose. So I'm going to let my feet come out just comfortably. For me, that's typically about the distance of my mat, just letting them hang naturally. Lying down on your mat, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Close down your eyes.
Just let yourself totally melt into the mat. Relaxing all the muscles in your face. Relax your arms and your chest. Relax your stomach and your hips. Relax your legs and your feet. And just fully relax into the mat. As any thoughts or sounds pass through, just letting them pass very quickly without judging them. Just giving yourself this gift of total relaxation. Slowly bringing your awareness back into the room. You can wiggle your fingertips and your toes, just bringing a little movement back into the body. Slowly hug your knees into your chest. Slowly rolling over in a fetal position, just pausing here for a moment. Using your top arm to push yourself up, back into a seated position, just coming back to where we started. Taking your hands at your heart. So in yoga, we always end by saying namaste, and that has a lot of different meanings, but the one that I like to use the most is the beauty in me honors the beauty in you. So we'll raise our hands to our forehead, bring them back down to your heart. Take a moment to just bow your head, close your eyes, and just take a moment to thank yourself for taking time to yourself to do something great for your body as well as your mind. Lifting the head back up, we bring our hands towards your forehead and we bow and say namaste. Thank you, Uncle Jerry, for making a request for me to make a video. Once you've done this one a couple times, anytime you get bored and you want to add on, I'm happy to keep doing this. It would actually be a great thing for me. I think half the reason why it took me so long was possibly fear or just knowing that I had to sit here and talk to a phone by myself and do yoga, and I'm sure I was resisting it for some reason, but I'm glad that I finally did it. So thank you so much for that. And anyone anyone else. Hope you enjoyed, and maybe we'll be seeing each other in a class sometime. Namaste. Thank you.